A solid white line down the center of a two-lane road indicates A. Lanes are moving in opposite directions and drivers are not permitted to pass. B. Lanes are moving in opposite directions and drivers are permitted to pass when it is safe to do so. C. Lanes are moving in the same direction and drivers are not permitted to pass. D. Lanes are moving in the same direction and drivers are permitted to pass when it is safe to do so. C. Lanes are moving in the same direction and drivers are not permitted to pass. White lines are used to separate traffic moving in the same direction. Solid lines indicate that drivers are not permitted to pass. A steady yellow traffic signal means that a fill in the blank light will soon appear. A. Flashing yellow. B. Steady green. C. Steady red. D. Flashing red. C. Steady red. A steady yellow light on a traffic signal indicates that a steady red light will soon appear. While obtaining your driver license, you may A. Register for selective service. B. Choose to become an organ and tissue donor. C. Register to vote. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. If you are 18 years of age or older, you may choose to become an organ and tissue donor when obtaining your driver license. If you are a male between the ages 18 and 25, the DMV will register you with selective service unless you use a waiver form to opt out. If you are a citizen of the United States who will be at least 18 years of age by the time of the next election, you may register to vote or update your registration. As your speed increases, it is important to A. Turn on your headlights. B. Look well ahead of your vehicle. C. Change lanes frequently. B. Look well ahead of your vehicle. Your vehicle's stopping distance increases as your speed increases. When driving at high speeds, it is important to look well ahead of your vehicle to allow yourself space to safely react to hazardous situations.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
The posted speed limit shows A. Only a recommended driving speed. B. The exact speed at which you must travel to avoid a ticket. C. The maximum safe driving speed under ideal road and weather conditions. D. The maximum safe driving speed under all road conditions. C. The maximum safe driving speed under ideal road and weather conditions. A speed limit sign shows the maximum legal driving speed for the stretch of highway where it is posted. Driving safely may require you to travel more slowly than the posted limit. When conditions are less than ideal, drivers should slow down. This sign means A. Reserved parking for persons with disabilities. B. Slow-moving vehicle. C. No U-turn. A. Reserved parking for persons with disabilities. This sign indicates parking spaces that are reserved for vehicles displaying persons with disabilities license plates, disabled veteran license plates, and/or disabled parking placards. A single broken yellow line down the center of a two-lane road indicates A. Lanes are moving in opposite directions and drivers are not permitted to pass. B. Lanes are moving in opposite directions and drivers are permitted to pass when it is safe to do so. C. Lanes are moving in the same direction and drivers are not permitted to pass. D. Lanes are moving in the same direction and drivers are permitted to pass when it is safe to do so. B. Lanes are moving in opposite directions and drivers are permitted to pass when it is safe to do so. Yellow lines are used to separate traffic moving in opposite directions. Dashed lines indicate that drivers directly next to the line are permitted to pass when it is safe to do so. Before returning to your original lane after passing another vehicle, you should A. Beep your horn. B. See both headlights of the passed vehicle in your rearview mirror. C. Flash your headlights. When approached by an emergency vehicle that is using its siren and/or flashing lights, a driver must immediately A. Pull to the right and stop. B. Pull to the right and slow down. C. Pull to the right and turn on their vehicle's four-way flashers. D. Stop and let the emergency vehicle pass. A. Pull to the right and stop. When you are approached by an emergency vehicle that is using its lights, sirens, and/or other warning devices, you must immediately drive to the right side of the road and stop. Blue traffic signs offer information on A. Motorist services. B. Construction and maintenance. C. Mileage information, such as distances to specific locations. A. Motorist services. Blue signs on the roadway are service signs. They are used to provide information about motorist services, such as upcoming rest areas, food options, or nearby hospitals. All drivers and fill in the blank are required by law to wear seat belts in a moving vehicle while in the District of Columbia. A. All passengers. B. Any front seat passengers. C. Passengers under the age of 18. A double solid yellow line down the center of a two-lane road indicates A. Lanes are moving in opposite directions and drivers are not permitted to pass. B. Lanes are moving in opposite directions and drivers are permitted to pass when it is safe to do so. C. Lanes are moving in the same direction and drivers are not permitted to pass. D. Lanes are moving in the same direction and drivers are permitted to pass when it is safe to do so. A. Lanes are moving in opposite directions and drivers are not permitted to pass. Yellow lines are used to separate traffic moving in opposite directions. Solid lines indicate that drivers are not permitted to pass. This road sign indicates A. The maximum safe speed for a residential area. B. The maximum safe speed for an expressway exit. C. The maximum safe speed for an expressway entrance. D. The maximum safe speed for a work zone. B. The maximum safe speed for an expressway exit. This advisory speed sign indicates the maximum safe speed for a highway exit, in this example, 30 miles per hour. This road sign means A. Hospital. B. Upcoming intersection. C. Railroad crossing. B. Upcoming intersection. Warning signs provide notice to road users of a situation that might not be readily apparent and are usually yellow with black markings. This sign warns drivers of an upcoming intersection so they may prepare for potential traffic or prepare to turn. When you hear the siren or see the flashing lights of an approaching emergency vehicle, you must A. Slow down until it passes you. B. Drive to the right side of the road and stop. C. Motion for the emergency vehicle to pass you. D. Merge into the right lane and continue driving. B. Drive to the right side of the road and stop. Yield the right-of-way to any approaching emergency vehicle that is using its flashing lights or siren, regardless of its direction of travel. You must immediately drive to the right side of the road and stop until the emergency vehicle has passed. If you are within an intersection, pass through the intersection before coming to a stop on the right side of the road. As a pedestrian, you should A. Always insist on the right-of-way over a vehicle when using a crosswalk. B. Never enter a street or crosswalk when vehicles are approaching. C. Enter a crosswalk at any time because it is the vehicle driver's responsibility to stop. D. Use crosswalks only if they are convenient. B. Never enter a street or crosswalk when vehicles are approaching. Pedestrians should not enter a street or crosswalk when vehicles are approaching. Though pedestrians have the right-of-way in crosswalks, a vehicle approaching from a close distance may not have the time to stop before entering the crosswalk. Certain highway signs require drivers to obey an indicated instruction. Such signs are known as A. Regulatory signs. B. Warning signs. C. Information signs. D. Guide signs. A. Regulatory signs. Regulatory signs require drivers to obey an indicated instruction. Failure to comply is subject to penalty. You are coming to an intersection with a flashing red light. You should A. Slow down and yield the right-of-way. B. Slow down and drive carefully through the intersection. C. Come to a complete stop, check the traffic, and go when it is safe to do so. C. Come to a complete stop, check the traffic, and go when it is safe to do so. A flashing red traffic light means the same thing as a stop sign. You must come to a complete stop, yield to other traffic and pedestrians, and then proceed when it's safe to do so. You may not cross a single broken white or yellow line. A. When doing so would interfere with traffic. B. When turning left into a driveway. C. When the car in front of you is disabled. D. When passing to the right on a one-way street. A. When doing so would interfere with traffic. You may cross a single broken line to pass or change lanes as long as you can do so safely and without interfering with traffic. Is it legal cross a double solid yellow centerline to pass? A. Yes. B. No. C. If there is no oncoming traffic. D. If the vehicle ahead of you is driving under the speed limit. B. No. Two solid yellow lines down the center of a two-way road mean that neither lane of traffic may cross the lines, unless they are turning off of the roadway. A driver can cross double yellow lines when turning into or out of a driveway or entrance to a business. No passing is allowed over a solid yellow line. Many crashes are caused by A. Drivers traveling too fast for conditions. B. Drivers consistently checking their mirrors and blind spots. C. Drivers yielding the right-of-way. D. Drivers maintaining a 4-second following distance. A. Drivers traveling too fast for conditions. Many crashes are caused by drivers who are driving too fast for conditions. Always drive within the legal speed limits and decrease your speed anytime conditions are less than perfect. When may you legally drive around or under a railroad crossing gate? A. Never. B. When you can see clearly in both directions. C. When the warning lights are not flashing. A. Never. Do not go around or under any lowered gate at a railroad crossing. Once the gate is raised, do not proceed across the tracks until you can see clearly in both directions and are sure there are no trains coming. You should not make sudden stops in front of large trucks and buses because A. Small vehicle drivers cannot adequately see large trucks and buses in their rear-view mirrors. B. Large trucks and buses, due to their size and weight, require longer distances to stop than smaller passenger vehicles. C. Large trucks and buses travel at a higher speeds than small vehicles. B. Large trucks and buses, due to their size and weight, require longer distances to stop than smaller passenger vehicles. Large vehicles require longer distances to stop and accelerate than smaller vehicles do. Making a sudden stop in front of a large vehicle is dangerous because the other driver may not be able to stop in time to avoid a collision. A blood alcohol concentration of 0.02%. A. Won't have any effect on your driving. B. Won't put other drivers at risk. C. Will double your chances of having an accident. C. Will double your chances of having an accident. Every 0.02% increase in blood alcohol concentration nearly doubles a driver's risk of being in a fatal crash. When you see this sign, it means A. There is an object on the roadway. B. Traffic is coming from the right. C. The road is curving sharply to the left. D. There is a merge point ahead.